Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Look on the screen here. It says hiring robots over people. Yep. So here you're seeing is a picture rather. This is the GM assembly line, I believe. And the little green thing, that's the robot. Let's listen to this news clip. And basically, they've reportedly laid off 1,000 workers. But guess what? They've hired, or well, I can't say hire a robot, put on 50 robots. Check it out.
The Detroit General Motors facility say they are disgusted after more than 1,000 employees are laid off and dozens of robots are now on the job instead. Now, GM says this situation isn't how it might look from the outside. So let's get over to Nick, who's got the full story here. Nick, is it as simple as GM replacing hundreds of humans with machines, or is there more to it?
There's more to it, Marky. GM says no, but that's not how it appeals to those who work there, right? The company has not drawn a direct line between each layoff and each new machine. What we can say is that GM cut more than 1,000 jobs at GM's Factory Zero plant in Detroit, which is all electric. Then they installed roughly 50 robots on the assembly line. The collaborative robots, or as they are called, Cobots, made by the Fanuc American Corporation, help employees attach body panels on vehicles. Jim says they are designed to work beside people, improving safety, ergonomics, flexibility, and competitiveness. The company has also said its production cuts were driven by slower electric vehicle demand. But to workers who have watched their plant shrink, the order of events is hard to ignore. Their jobs disappeared, then the robots arrived.
The threat of humanoid robotics.
Now, the person speaking here is Sean Fain. He's with United Auto Workers. He's the United Auto Workers president.
Automation. It's a profound threat and a challenge to our way of life, to our economy, and our political system. We need to be clear about this. We are in a fight for humanity.
Now, a GM spokesperson calls the robots a part of a broader push toward using more advanced tech company-wide, Marky.
Now, you're really in a fight for survival because those 1,000 people that are laid off, some may have a retirement plan, I would assume. You can easily, people pull that money, live off that, and the economy is so bad. I've heard reports of people exhausting it. And then the penalties. So, for those 1,000 that are laid off, what is the probability the EV sales are down? The job market, as they say, is trash. I totally concur. What's the possibility of them seeking employment elsewhere? You can seek it. What's the possibility of them gaining employment elsewhere? Because this is happening across the board. When you hear the reports, and I've seen people speak out about it, saying, oh, they're saying things are going great. The economy is great. For the powers that be, for the owners of these companies, of course it's going great because they're laying off people. They're saving money in workman's comp, health insurance. A robot doesn't need health insurance. A robot doesn't need a retirement plan. You don't need workman's comp program for a robot. So this is the wealth divide. The ones at the top is going great for them. When you hear, oh, the economy's doing great, they're not talking about you and me. Yep, I'm in that group. They're not talking about us, beautiful people, the average American. No, the ones at the top is doing great for them. This is basically, it's a fight for survival because if you don't have income, what's going to happen? That's 1,000 people there. So what's the probability that they're going to go ahead and find another job paying the same amount of money? And even people that have good paying jobs, the paychecks cannot keep up with inflation. Gee, we're going to see what happens here. This is week 1 since they had the report about the oil reserves being down in about 4 weeks. Oh my gosh, it could be total pandemonium. Inflation is not going to remain the same. Given what is happening with oil and gas, it's going to get worse. Gonna get worse. So what's the probability of those 1,000 people replacing that income that they had at GM? Don't want to speak negative, but the reality, I would say it's not looking so good for, I would say, most. So when you hear, oh, the economy's doing great, it's doing great for Wall Street. The ones at the top, it's doing great for them. Because guess what? At the tops, this is what's happening. They're not investing in people. Life is business, and these companies, in my opinion, they don't care about you. They care about you to keep keep your ego up and say, hey, you can work harder and work faster to trim the fat. But this right here, I see it as a fight for survival, because if people don't have jobs, if they're getting over millions been laid off. I've heard 20 million, over 20 million, 21 million, millions of people being laid off. If they cannot find, as I said before, the problem is we have job elimination, but there is no job creation. We got a problem. If they cannot find replacement income, please tell me what's going to happen. This is when you see all the foreclosures, and then you wonder why, hey, why is Wall Street buying up all the houses, the communities? I've seen them buy a whole entire subdivision. I've seen it go from a whole new subdivision, selling homes, starting at $300,000 to change. It's like what? It's like blink. I was like 2 weekends ago. The sign changed. That whole new subdivision is now a rental community. Everybody living in those homes in that subdivision. It looks so nice and so cute. Oh yeah, so nice. So the cars in the driveway, everybody's a renter. You cannot pass down generational wealth with your rental property unless you own it. You can't pass down generational wealth as a renter. So what is happening? The landscape of American life is changing right before our eyes. And AI is going to be a good factor, playing a major role in it. These companies, they are for themselves. I keep saying life is business. They're not worried about, well, what's going to happen to those families. We've got families working here now. They've got a mortgage. They've got car payments, and they've got car. Yeah, they don't care about that. That's why when I see people, I hate people that are on jobs, always trying to get somebody fired, be a tattletale, something like, oh, someone so did this, trying to make yourself stay. I've seen once the bootlicker. Guess what? Even the bootlicker gets the boot. So this right here, it's happening. It's happening across the nation. I'm sure worldwide. Less need for humans. And if people can't work and make a living, how are they going to survive? I don't see the politicians tackling that, because a lot of them probably own stock in these companies. It would not surprise me at all. We're basically electing people, I feel, so they can have a job to do a big fat nothing. Maybe toot the horn every now and then on something. So 1,000 robots. Wow. So when they say, oh, things are going good, the economy, no, they're not talking about regular people, because we're like, hey, can't make it. The ones at the top. And this right here.
General Motors facility say they are disgusted after more than 1,000 employees are laid off and dozens of robots.
So hold on, there are people, speaking of the workers, when she said that they're disgusted, okay?
At a Detroit General Motors facility say they are disgusted after more than 1,000 employees are laid off and dozens of robots are now on the job instead. Now, GM says this situation isn't how it might look from the outside, so let's get over to...
It is what it is. It's very simple. Did you lay off 1,000 people? Yes. And did you bring on 50 robots? If you did that, guess what? If it looks like a duck, it quests like a duck, darling, it's a duck. It is what it is.
Nick, who's got the full story here. Nick, is it as simple as GM replacing hundreds of humans with machines, or is there more to it?
There's more to it, Marky. GM says no, but that's not how it appeals to those who work there, right? The company has not drawn a direct line between each layoff and each new machine. What we can say is that GM cut more than 1,000 jobs at GM's Factory Zero plant in Detroit, which is all electric. Then they installed roughly 50 robots on the assembly line.
So it's not hard to figure out that the robots replace the people. And look how they try and spin it. Really? So let me know what you all think. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out.